Am I the a-hole for kicking my parents out of my brother's birthday and refusing to give up my siblings? I, 25 male, live in a house of mine with my little siblings, 15 male, 12 female, and 11 male. My parents, 44 male and 43 female, got divorced 3 years ago. My father left to be with his lover. Then a month later, my mom showed up in my house. It is an inheritance. To ask me if I can have the kids for 2 days or 3 until she settled down, because she was moving down to her boyfriend's house as well. It's been 3 years now, and all my siblings get from them is a visit once a week. They pay child support, doesn't help that much, but I haven't taken them to court. Now, 2 weeks ago, my brother turned 15. I hosted a party. My parents helped us to buy the cake and the sodas, and I invited them because, after all, they are still their parents. But I specified on the invitation that I didn't want to see their spouses because I simply don't like them. Anyway, they came with their spouses and stepchildren. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make a scene. After all, it wasn't my birthday, and if my brother was okay with it, I was too. Everything became a mess at the family photo. I said I wanted a picture of me and my siblings together. My parents couldn't help in making it about them. My mom requested that her stepson should be in the picture too because he is also family. And my dad said that his stepdaughter should be there too. And also his wife because she's carrying a baby. I was shocked because of those random and nonsense comments. So I just couldn't keep it in and told them that they were selfish, irresponsible, narcissistic, terrible parents, and their requests were out of the question since those kids, I have nothing against them, are not our family. It will never be. I also told my dad he should have a vasectomy and not allowed to have more kids. Then I screamed, "And if you think I'll raise this too, you're wrong." My mom started crying, calling me rude. My dad's wife cried too, so I kicked them out. My siblings told them to go, so they both accused me of turning my siblings against them and were trying to take them by force, but they refused. Now, my mom and dad said they'll go to court to have custody back because I'm a bad example of disrespect and irreverence. In my country, the legislation allows my siblings to decide who they want to live with, and they say they'd pick me. My grandma, father's mother, said I should not have restrained my parents' authority over my siblings, and it's not my job to take care of them and that I should give them up to let my parents be responsible again. My father's brother said that I was the a-hole for making my mom and a pregnant woman cry. So am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Not even close. Deadbeat parents that abandon their kids can GTFO. You do you, young man, and keep those kids safe, just like you've been doing for 3 years. Best of luck to you. Agreed, and I would so take them both to court for proper child support. Not the a-hole. Your mother left her own children to be on their own and forced you to take responsibility. The same with your dad. Your little sibling are old enough to understand how you feel and probably feel like you do, left behind. I don't feel left behind because I can't miss what I never had. They didn't raise me. It was my mom's mom because they were too young and had to finish high school. But my siblings really feel left behind. Wait, so having kids they then abandon is a pattern with these people? Why even have kids? I have no idea why they keep having children, since it's proven they are not the best parents. I'm just sorry for the little child coming. I hope the new baby doesn't run the same luck. Not the a-hole. You should seek legal custody of the minors though, and an actual support order from your courts. OP, you really do need to make this legal. I'm sure it will relieve a lot of anxiety from your siblings too, if they know they can't just be uprooted back to the parents that couldn't be bothered to care for them for the last 3 years. You are their home now. Not the a-hole and actually a damn great human. Much love to your little family of siblings. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law I'd testify against her if she sought full custody in her ridiculous hypothetical? My female 28, sister-in-law female 26, likes to play this stupid game where she brings up hypothetical scenarios or asks questions that she knows will make her upset if she doesn't get the specific answer she wants. I've asked her twice to stop involving me in this because I'm not typical, and my responses won't be to her liking. One of these scenarios, and she's serious about it, is that my brother should get an apartment where we currently live, so he can continue to work and provide for her and their kids, while she moves to a completely different state to live with her family. She's brought this scenario up with me at least 3 times and other family members even more. My brother is obviously against it. She doesn't want a divorce, she just wants this living arrangement. I asked who would have the kids, and she said she would expect to have them full-time because they are her kids. That he can come and fly and visit on his days off whenever he can squeeze it in. He is in a demanding field. This means maybe once a month, if that. I said that was messed up, and that nobody should interfere with the parents' access to their children unless the parent is truly dangerous and bad for the kid. She said she didn't see a problem with it. I told her that even though I love her, I'd encourage him to petition the court to at least get 50-50 custody. She lost it saying nobody will take her kids from her, that they belong to her. This is where I got pissed/snapped. She said, I wish he would take me to court. I have some dirt on him and I'd be happy to air everything out. Before this, it was just a stupid hypothetical, but this threat made me upset. And I told her I'd 100% be a character witness against her having them 100% of the time, especially given the way she talks about her dad, who she wants to live with, being mentally abusive, and that she refuses to seek therapy even though she admits she has problems that manifest in some very unhealthy behaviors/choices. That my brother deserves to be in his kids' lives 50% of the time if she wants to unnecessarily tear apart her family, and she could have them the other 50%. She told me to mind my business and not get involved. That it's between her and my brother and I have no right to insert myself in custody issues. After that, I was over it. Anytime she tried to prolong the fight with me, screaming at me, I just kept repeating, don't ask for my opinion on things if you don't want to hear the answer, as I packed my things and left. So, am I the a-hole for saying I testify against her in this ridiculous hypothetical she brings up all the time? After sitting on it for a bit, I feel somewhat bad for openly saying it, and angry at myself for feeding into her game that I constantly try to avoid playing. Even more so for getting visibly angry at a frigging hypothetical. But the truth is, if my brother tried to do that to her, I'd tell him the same thing. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Jesus. I recommend telling your brother about this. She's crazy. He called me immediately after to ask what happened. I told him, but he knows she's brought this up to other people. He's aware she likes to rage bait with hypotheticals and questions she knows she won't like and he just ignores it. He's very stoic, not philosophical version, and so he can look past it without an emotional response. To him, it's not real. And if it becomes real, he will take methodical steps to ensure his needs are met. This happened like 2 days ago and I just had been ruminating on it. But the same day, one of the first things she said to me was, if we didn't have kids, do you think your brother would still be with me? I just told her to stop, and I'm not playing this game. I told her these questions highlight an extreme sense of insecurity, and that she needs to seek help to understand why she feels this way and work to resolve it. I can't count how many times I've told her she needs therapy. She has a tremendous amount of positives, but her unwillingness to seek help blocks her full potential. Then again, I'm constantly telling everyone they need therapy. I myself have a lot of trauma and mental health issues, which is why I have gone through extensive therapy and continue to seek it out. I also take medication. I am disappointed in myself because I completely backtracked in my emotional regulation during this discussion. Not a-hole. I don't think it's hypothetical anymore. The first time she brought it up, maybe, but not now. Your brother should prepare for this to possibly happen. Does she take the kids go and visit her parents without him? She may go and not come back. I think that's why I got upset. The first time I heard it was when I was staying with my mom a couple of years ago and she brought it up to me upset that she said it. I told her how I would have handled it. The first time she brought it up to me was unprompted, and she was talking to me as if my response would obviously be, "That's a great idea. I don't know why my brother wouldn't agree to it." This all started because I was talking about how I want to live separately from, but close to, any future partner I have for an extensive number of reasons. I listed the positives and mentioned how some of my friends who live with their partners started considering the pros of doing so with their own partners, but would never push this arrangement now because it is not their original agreement with their partner. She agreed and then brought up the scenario again. I told her it was completely different because 1, it's in separate states, and 2, there are children involved. No, she does not take the kids to go visit them without my brother, or without discussion presently. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my half-brother on a trip and refusing to share the start and end date? My sister Pam, 29 female, and I, 22 female, are from our dad's first marriage. I live currently with Pam in another city while my dad, stepmom, and half-siblings stayed in our family home. Pam and I love to vacation, and I work extra jobs to save up so we can travel together. I want to mention I really do love my half-brother, 18 male, but I'm way closer with Pam. She is the closest person I have, and she has been a great big sister, taking care of me. My half-brother Jake has this sneaky thing he does. He'd hit me up and ask me to buy him something from the city we live in. The first time it was a video game that really could only be bought in the city I live in because there was an early release there or something. It was $100, and after sending it, he let me know he was short on cash and will repay me later on. I asked him 2 months later and he just laughed awkwardly. I decided to let it go. He did it a few more times, pressuring me to buy stuff and send them over and never paid. On to the issue. Jake called me and asked if he could join Pam and I on our trip. I said sure, but our parents should buy him the ticket and pay for the hotel stay. Jake told me I can pay for it and he will pay me back. I told him I won't because that's over $600, and that's literally all I have left. He got annoyed and told me he'd pay. I said great, then do it and you can join. He got mad and said I was a bad sister for not paying now, as tickets or hotel availability might be gone in the next days, and I could clearly ask Pam to chip in. He said I'd do it for Pam, so I should do it for him. I felt bad, but refused again. He called me an a-hole and hung up. My stepmom and dad called and urged me to just book the hotel, which can be paid in full later, but I refused again. I said Jake should pay whatever Jake needs to pay. Pam backs me up, but my stepmom is upset and said I don't see Jake as a real sibling. Jake called me today and asked for the dates of the trip, and I said I no longer wanted him to come along since he was creating problems already before we leave. He pushed for the exact dates and time, and I again refused to give them. My stepmom has been blowing up my phone, and I have conveniently put it on silent. I feel like I went overboard. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. And you can tell your stepmother that if your full sibling had a habit of asking you to buy things for her, telling you should pay you back and then not doing it, you wouldn't be eager to keep buying things for her either. It's not that Jake is a half-sibling. It's that Jake is a mooch. Exactly. Use the whole you don't see him as a real sibling as just an excuse. If it meant so much to stepmom and dad, they should have fronted the money. That's their kid. It's easier to tell OP and then talk crap when she said no. Truth be told, good on OP for standing up for herself. Not stay home, but have a simple conversation with stepmom and dad on the same call. Say you are sorry for the way this has blown up, but you were hurt that they are accusing you of not loving Jake. Explain how Jake has been taking advantage of you with the purchases. Exact amounts would be great. I've bought 4 things to the tune of $280 he still has yet to pay me for. And remind them you support yourself. Work extra jobs to be able to do that. And he created your lack of trust of being paid back. You don't appreciate being made out to be the bad guy when all you are doing is being practical and financially responsible as they taught you. If they want him to go, and they'd like you to pay up front and let him owe them the money, you might reconsider. But being blamed and badgered for his actions, and for him not learning the same financial responsibilities, is not helping. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not taking my niece and nephew with me on a trip to Colorado and refusing to change my plans to be able to bring them? I grew up in Colorado and we moved to boring Ohio before I could finish climbing all of the 14,000 feet peaks and try to make it back every year or a few times a summer so I can knock the rest off my list. I have 9 left. Ellingwood, Blanca, Little Bear, Sunlight, Aeolus, Windham, Red Cloud / Sunshine, and my planned finisher, San Luis. The first 6 of these listed peaks are difficult climbs. The first 3 require a long backpacking trip in, and the second 2 do as well, and a train that may or may not run. Little Bear is considered one of the most difficult and dangerous, requiring ropes and helmets for most climbers. My brother heard that I'm planning a trip to Colorado and he wants me to take his kids with me. I said no flat out. I explained which mountains I planned, and he should have gotten the hint. But he told me that I should just switch the order I do them in and bring the kids with me in San Luis. I've planned a moonlight hike for San Luis forever. I want it to be just me in the sky. My brother has been saying that I don't spend enough time with the kids, that I make plans without considering anyone else's feelings or wants, and that I am stuck in adolescence and refuse to root in reality. The issue, I guess, is that he can't give the kids a full vacation this year because he's stuck at work, as is his wife. They don't have another option and are begging me to take the kids. Here's the thing. I'm a 26-year-old guy. I love my niece and nephew, but I have no interest whatsoever in changing my plans to bring kids with me on a trip. I plan to hike, drink beer at all the near breweries, go to some baseball games with friends I haven't seen in years, probably hook up with fit people because the options in Ohio are depressing AF, etc. I don't want to cut those plans to do a bunch of kid-friendly stuff. They expect me to just give up my trip and take the kids on the hiking equivalent of the bunny slopes. And I'm getting so much grief from all of my family about it, including my mom who said she agrees with my brother and that it's time to settle down. He also complained that the kids complain that they don't see me enough, which is crazy because I'm over at their house every few weeks. I haven't told anyone yet, but while I'm back in Colorado, I'm going to look for a place to live comfortably. I don't want to live in boring Cincinnati, Ohio for the rest of my life. This is a different issue, I guess. Anyway, am I the a-hole for not taking my niece and nephew out to Colorado with me because their parents can't do it? Not the a-hole. I like how settling down apparently means take care of someone else's responsibilities. I'm sure your niece and nephew say they wish they saw you more often. You are probably more fun than their own parents. That doesn't mean you have to take them on vacation or do anything else their parents are responsible for. Go live your life. Sounds to me like brother is jealous of the child-free / burden-free life OP is enjoying. That I make plans without considering anyone else's feelings or wants, and that I am stuck in adolescence and refuse to root in reality. In other words, stop doing fun things by yourself, because if I can't, then nobody should be able to. Not stay home, obviously. Go enjoy life. Not stay home. And why on earth would you take anyone's kids mountain climbing with you? You don't say how old the kids are, but based on your age, I'm going to assume they are far too young to go mountain climbing. Also, what kind of unreasonable a-hole expects a 26-year-old uncle to take a couple of little kids for a couple of weeks, out of state anyway? This is ridiculous. Go climb things and have fun. They're 13 and 16, so definitely not too young, but neither of them are even in physical condition to do this.